time is it? It's time to get your happy on. I am so excited to introduce you today, our special guest, Kristina Lucia. And we are going to meet some of the fabulous, curiously curated creations of Kristina Lucia. Here's Bella and her friends. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call on Bella. Here we have the 4 seasons of Bella. She is such a fun and lovable character going about town. She rides around in New York City cabs, attending the Museum of Modern Art, as well as the Met Gala. Some of Bella's favorite activities include making handmade cards for her friends, baking cookies and treats, and of course, treating herself to a spa day. We love you, Bella, so very much. Coming soon, Bella comes to life via storybooks. Here's a personal quote in philosophy. A gesture of kindness is contagious and with consistency can make rippling effects to the many people that it touches. Kristina Lucia and Bella. Welcome to the Get Your Happy On live stream show with me, Olivia. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, yes, Nancy, it is so adorable. We love Bella. Bella is super adorable. And, I just want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in, following me thus far on this Get Your Happy On live stream. This is what I like to call the hashtag happy half hour. And this is the show where you can bring your own choice of beverage. So what are you drinking these days? And it's so funny because I have to plug this today. I get asked all the time, like, Olivia, like, where do you get your zeal? Where do you get your zest for life? And as I think about that, I wonder if it has anything to do with like the Laughter Yoga training that I've been involved in, or the Humor Academy studies that I'm currently involved in as well. And I think back that, perhaps my zeal and zest for life has always been there, even as a child, being playful, being just in awe and in wonderment of everything that was going around me and being curious, right? So always being curious, wanting to get involved with things, wanting to learn and get my hands and touch everything and exploring. Like science was one of my favorite subjects in school, being able to run experiments, being able to read research, etc. I made it all the way to the Massachusetts State Science Fair. So I think having those qualities, even innate as a child, has really helped me to become who I am today. And the Laughter Yoga and the Humor Academy is a bonus, right? But anyway, so today I am drinking Zervita. This is my drink of choice. It's Zervita Zeal for Life. And I love this so much. Like, I will drink this every day. And that's how I get my zeal and zest for life. Yum. And this is one of my favorite flavors, Tropic Dream. It's so dreamy and has a creamy flavor, but it has all your vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, antioxidants, you name it. And what better way to refresh on a hot summer day than with Zervita? And look, it was made for me, zeal for life. But I came to know Zervita through some mutual colleagues, and I'm part of a business co-op, right? So we've got Lunch and Learn Zoom Fridays. That is something that's been going on since the pandemic with my fabulous co-host, Nancy Sue Gaskins. So she and I run that group every Friday. And as an extension of that Lunch and Learn Zoom Fridays, we have a co-op. And so that's how we were introduced to Zervita and Zeal, because it's one of the companies under our co-op umbrella. And the co-op serves a purpose. It helps us to, pool together resources, get access to many different opportunities, and being able to create passive income. So if you are curious about where to shop for your Zervita and Zeal, I'm going to put it here on the screen right now and also be available in the comments. But here it is. This is our co-op link. I invite you to shop this link, check it out, get some Zeal into your life. And if you are currently a Zeal customer or love Zeal, please let us know. We'd love to give you a bit shout out. Yes, Nancy, that is, yeah. I think next to Mango, Tropic Dream is amazing. So yes, I'm so happy that we have our co-op. I'm so happy we have these opportunities and being able to sample some really, really amazing products and bringing it to our members. So if you'd like to find out more information, of course, drop me a note in the comments or message me, and I'd love to get in touch with you. And so I am waiting on my guest today, Kristina Lucia, and she's a New Yorker, so she's always about town. And this is going to be different today because normally my guests will log in via the computer, like desktop, but she's coming in from the phone, and I've never had a guest do that before. So this is going to be a great experiment to see if guests are able to restream via phone. So I'm going to see if I can bring her on here. Kristina, can you hear me? Kristina, I cannot hear you. But I see you. You're looking beautiful and fresh, of course, and you've got Bella there. We love Bella so much. So I don't know, Kristina, we might have to sign language this segment. So I was on chat support. Oops. So I've been on chat support with Restream all day because guests were having issues coming on. So Kristina, if you're listening, I think you have to open the invitation link via your browser, Internet Chrome browser on your phone, for example, like Chrome. And I think you also have to go into incognito mode to enable those permissions. So if you're watching this, please follow those instructions. And I have to say, I mean, I've been loving my relationship with Restream. I've been using Restream exclusively for the past 3 months. And I have to wonder, like, why now? Why now all of a sudden bugs and glitches? Is it a ploy? Is it a ploy where I need to upgrade to the next tier? Because it has been working like fabulously and I love it. I've had a lot of success with it. I love its capabilities, and it just fascinates me that I'm able to stream simultaneously on so many different channels, as well as pair the channels of my guests. But I feel like now, since yesterday, I've been having some issues, and I wonder if that's a built-in glitch where I now need to up my level or up that membership subscription and get to the next one. So if so, I will happily do it, but it does make me wonder. But anyway, as we learned from earlier today, I was on the Sing Your Heart Song Summit, and we did a fabulous speaker spotlight. My co-host Steph Garvey and I got a chance to interview Liz Jacoy, and she was having connection issues as well. And you know what we did? We just laughed with it. It's better than getting frustrated. And we just persisted. We persisted. We tried multiple logins, and finally it worked. And she came on, and we did a fabulous interview. So I'm hoping that this is the case as well, and that Kristina will be on. And I'm hoping that all of you are just patient. And if we need to reschedule this episode, you'll be graceful with that as well too. But just a little bit background on Kristina. I got to meet her through a wonderful mutual friend, and this is all came about from networking, right? So from the pandemic, I was heavily involved with online networking. I went to all these events, and one of the events I attended, I got to meet Brandon Giddickson. And so Brandon is a powerful connector. I mean, immediately he got me in touch with Kristina and so many colleagues, and really helped to boost my network on LinkedIn, outside of my industry, outside of HR, outside of staffing. And who would have thought that I would be friends today with so many creative entrepreneurs? Kristina has a really unique business with her crochet creations. And crocheting is a tradition, something that she learned from, I believe, her grandmother, and she's kept that tradition and now creates these beautiful stuffed toys, these lovelies, and is now working on a storybook line, sort of like a companion series to go with the characters and the stories. So as you can see, I did that little slideshow in the beginning to show all the adventures of one of her famous creations, Bella. And so shout out to you, Brandon. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you and your amazing ability just to connect people. And I really appreciate you, for gearing, guiding this friendship that I have with Kristina now. And Kristina is a dear, dear friend. And she sends me those homemade cards all the time. And she's presented at our Sing Your Heart Song Summit. And so we've done a lot of collaboration work together. And I'm just so excited to see her grow. I'm excited for all of my connections. And I'm thrilled to be part of your journey, intertwined with mine, and witnessing our growth together. So that is the essence of collaboration. So Big shout out to you, Brandon, if you're watching this. I really, really appreciate all that you do, and hopefully you'll be on the show soon. So you're on the list, right? It's good to be on my Olivia good list. All right, Kristina, let me see if I can try you again. Let's see. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. This is what happens when you go live. So, all right, here we go.
Hi. You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me? Oh my gosh. Oh, thank God. Okay, good. It was worth like the chaos. I'm so embarrassed. I'm usually not like this. I'm usually so on top of everything, and I am just a mess today. But Bella's happy. Bella's happy to be here. I'm happy too.
Kristina, I was like, oh my God. And of course, you were the one who were on top of me, like sending me show notes, sending me
I
your
know.
talking points, sending me the reminders. I was like, girl, I'm going to send you the link when I have it ready.
Because I just got confused because I was like, okay, by 4:00 I'll be in a park, and I looked at my messages on my way here. I'm like, oh, wait, I have to get here earlier. But like, I always joke about, because like I told you, I'm writing my book series, and every day is like riding a bike, and this is that exact example of like, even if you think you have everything put together, something can happen, and you just go with the flow, and it will be okay. It will work out. It's just a story we're going to laugh about. I know we're going to laugh about.
We already are.
We already are laughing about it.
I was usually not like this, and I was thinking, I really don't want to reschedule. I really hope that we can do it today because I'm on a roll. I'm on momentum. So I didn't want to like having to redo episode 6.
Oh, no. And I do apologize for like my chaos today. Like my brain was just like, I literally was thinking 4:00. I was like, okay, I'll be in a spot. And I was like, wait, earlier? And then I wasn't expecting the video and the microphone, like, because I've done it before on my phone. And it's been like easy peasy, just log on. So today I just got a couple of curveballs. And so, yeah. Boy. We're here.
Well,
we're having fun.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad Bella's here.
Yes.
Hello, Bella. Nice to meet you. So walk me through this because you're coming in from the phone, and I haven't had a guest come in from the phone before.
Yeah.
So what was the differentiator? Like what worked? I need to write that down.
Absolutely. So with the phone, I started off in Chrome, and then it sent me to Safari. And the other thing is, like you said, the incognito through Google. I wasn't expecting that because I've done Zoom on my phone, and I've also done live streams like this on my phone before. Like for your last summit, I did it on my phone because I was in my backyard, kind of similar to what I'm doing right now. So I didn't expect that. But this platform, I needed to do a little extra, which I wasn't expecting, which is why I was so thrown off. Like I wasn't expecting that, but it worked out fine once I figured it out. So you were extremely helpful. Like the articles you sent me, like once I got into the right place, I figured it out.
Okay.
One thing I will say though, on the phone, if you have the Google app, so I downloaded the Google app, that was the easiest way to turn on the microphone I found. So like that was what I found was like the success story.
So you mean go to the Google Apps and download Restream? So Restream has a...
Oh, so what I did is I downloaded the Google app, and at the top of the Google app, it has a microphone and a video icon. And if you click on the microphone, it allows you to turn on your microphone, turn on the incognito mode. So that's how I was able to do it after all.
Wait a minute. So Google Apps, I mean, there's so many Google apps. It's just
the regular Google app. Like I just downloaded the regular Google app, and that's how I got there.
So download regular Google apps, and that allows you to go incognito with the microphone.
Yes, yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily incognito Chrome browser.
No, it sent me to the Google app because it was in the Google Chrome browser that I found that article. The article you sent me guided me to download the app and then click on do incognito mode and click on the microphone icon, and
Okay, so next time, if anyone is zooming in or restreaming in as a guest on the phone, just send them an article and follow the instructions.
Yes.
Google Apps incognito. Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Well, you know, this was a great experiment, Kristina. So I think it worked out for a reason.
Yeah, it did.
And I love the scenery. I've not had anyone come in like on location. So
it's actually ironic. So that's why I do think it was worth like this, even though I'm embarrassed about the struggle and being late. So I'm actually sitting outside Central Park, and I'm actually by the Central Park Zoo. And Bella's super excited because even though I don't have elephants, they have other animals there that she's friends with. So we're very excited to be like literally like we're a block from the Central Park Zoo. If like I walk a block this way, it's there. So yeah, I'm in. I can just show you. I'm in.
Ooh,
Give you a little.
I love that lush scenery. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. So I thought it'd be kind of. That's why I told you earlier. I wanted to make sure it was okay with you if I was outside because I thought it'd be kind of a fun twist, you know. And also being a New Yorker, like that's a huge part of my story and a huge part of I am. And also it's just fun. I'm grateful for you letting me to play like this with you and get an idea of like what looks good, you know what I mean, and like what works and things like that. So yeah, thank you for
Well,
letting me do this.
no, thank you because I will be traveling next week, and so
Oh.
I need to know this, and so I might just be restreaming from my phone.
Yeah. Oh, good, good. Okay. Shoot.
So this is actually really helpful.
Oh, good. And I'm happy. We can have a call outside of this and like go through it and walk through it together. Like, I'm happy to do that with you because I know I was like a dunce at it a minute ago, and I'm just grateful it worked. I'm like, oh, thank God it worked.
Absolutely. So we've got some viewers on the line. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Get Your Happy On live stream show with me, Olivia, and my special guest. And today we're sitting down with Kristina Lucia. And how are you today? So let me know in the comments, drop a note, say hello, let me know how you're doing. And that is something I've learned to ask recently, Kristina. Instead of saying, how are you? Because we change moment to moment, day to day. So I've learned to ask, how are you today?
Oh my gosh. So true. So true. I totally believe in that. Yes. I love it. I love it. That one word can make all the difference too.
Exactly. All right. Well, let me turn the attention over to you because I love that you're a creative entrepreneur. I love that you're a Renaissance creator. You've like made your own category. And so talk a little bit about flexibility, right? I mean, we had to be super flexible just now. So does that come with entrepreneurship? And in what areas have you were flexible? I mean, I know you're a dancer, so you've got that
Yeah.
going, but
I do. I do. Well, flexibility for me, it's everything. It's so many different things. I find one of the biggest things with my business is just being open to new possibilities. When I first started creating these characters, the characters that are going to be in my storybooks actually did not exist at that point. They were ideas. Like I might have had maybe one of them, but not all of them. And just being able to listen to my audience. The other piece of the puzzle that I found I was flexible with is my blog. When I started blogging, I really wasn't sure what my blog would be and what it would be about. And being open to just writing drafts that I still have this day have not published but are saved in my hard drive because you never know. And at one point I thought, oh, my blog's going to be this. And it wasn't. And I changed it. And then I started a second blog. And that by doing all of that, it led me to be open to the possibility when I realized I needed to write a book, but wasn't sure what that book was. By being open-minded to that, I realized, oh, I'm supposed to write storybooks for children. Because originally I thought it would be a book of my blogs, to be honest. I thought it would be my blogs for the longest time. And I thought, oh, the storybooks are coming later when I have a bigger audience. And I realized, no, my audience is going to come from my storybooks and being open to that possibility. And Bella actually, originally, she was one of the secondary elephants. And again, that came from just being open and seeing, okay, what color schemes are people being open to? And Bella is and still is named after my friend's daughter, Isabella. But as I started writing my books, I realized, oh my gosh, Bella is me too. It's a combination of my friend's daughter and myself. And ironically, I realized, wait, people call me Bella. Bella is actually one of my nicknames. I just don't talk about it very often. And so again, having that open mindedness, that flexibility of, okay, you know what, I can be a part of this. Like I can have my own Alfred Hitchcock moment. You know, I can be suddenly in the element. And so I think those are like the biggest examples of flexibility. Because you never know. And now that I'm in the editing process, that's another place where I had to be flexible, but also be honest to me, be true to myself. Like, okay, what are my deal breakers? Like, what am I going to say? Okay, I'm willing to work on this. And other things where I'm like, no, this has to be there. Actually, I have a meeting with with my editor, who's also a friend of ours, Susan Crossman. She's editing my books, and yeah, it's really
You're
exciting. And
working with
actually,
Susan? Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
And actually, if you don't mind me giving a shout out, so I met Susan through Olivia's summit that I participated in February, and I went to your summit wanting to meet people, and that's exactly what I did. Is I walked out meeting all these amazing people. So, and I met even more people through Susan. So, it's been this wonderful experience. And Susan gave me a really great feedback, which we're going to go over. And there are certain things that I'm making notes on. And like, if I'm saying no to something, being clear, why am I saying no to those things? Like, why is it important that this thing stays the way it stays, And that's like a big piece of being an entrepreneur as well, I feel, is knowing when to be flexible and when to kind of stand your ground and say, you know what, this is going to break the brand. Like, this isn't going to translate right in the future if I don't keep it this way. Yes.
I did not know that you were going to collaborate with Susan. And this makes me so happy to hear. So, yes, shout out to you, Susan Crossman. I think it's so fabulous. I can't think of a better book editor, book coach for you to bring the story to life. And Susan, you didn't even tell us.
It just happened. And it just happened.
We want that referral fee.
Yeah, she's amazing. I went to her conference also, and I met so many people, and basically the people that I'm surrounded by right now, they're working on me with next steps are all stemmed from that conference, are all stemmed from Susan. And the reality is the degree before that was a Sing Your Heart Summit. So I want to take this opportunity to give you and your colleagues a shout out for the event that you allowed me to participate in, because it definitely made a difference in my life. And Bella's too.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear, Kristina. And you were fabulous at the event. And I think a lot of people got to relate to you through the use of the storybook characters, etc. And then the fact that you took it a step further, like you always do. I think you connected with Megan Hurley and you became best friends.
Yes.
With Susan, I'm just so excited to see how this is going to evolve for you.
Yeah.
And know that I had a hand in it. I had a hand in this arrangement.
You did. And, it's so funny because the way how we met through Brandon G. And even how I met Brandon, to be honest, like if I really go back, someone really asked me, how did it really, really start? Like, what was that first degree? It was literally a Facebook story. It all stemmed from a Facebook story where I reached out to somebody and said, hey, can we have a coffee? And that coffee, I ended up at a B&I meeting. It was at B&I meeting, I ended up meeting my friend Helen. And through Helen, I went to the Julia Pimser's $1 Million Women Summit. I met Joe Applebaum, who I met Shannon through. I met you through. And now went to your summit and participated in your summit and met all these other people. And then I went to Susan's summit and met all these other people. So that's another piece I feel about being an entrepreneur is that curiosity and that the degrees. And it doesn't always work like this. I'm not trying to say to the audience, like it's always magic like that. Sometimes I do hit a lot of roadblocks. Sometimes I do. But if I hit a roadblock and a door closes, it means another door is opening. And even though a door closing can really hurt and it's really painful, I keep in mind, although there are sometimes tears or there's anger or feelings I don't like, I have to remind myself, keep walking forward though, because somewhere else it's closing because God wants you, or whoever your higher power is, wants you to walk towards another open door. And that's the power I feel that I always try to embody. And some days are easier than others. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it by any means, but that's something I try to embody whenever I hit a closed door. Because I have conversations with you and I start going through my degrees. I'm like, oh, wow, it does work. Like, it really does work. And it's really powerful.
Oh, I am just so happy. It makes my heart so full to hear these stories of collaboration. And I love that you're plugging the summit. We have another edition coming up for July, right? So the link is below. Go ahead and register now. You want to register early because we're planning some amazing workshops hands-on that you need to get the materials for. So please register the link below. This is the summit. And like Kristina said, it's an opportunity to connect and network and learn. I mean, my co-host and I, Steph Garvin and Irma Goosen, we have hand-selected each of these presenters to fit a theme and to fit our community. And so you're getting the best of the best, I feel. And so if you want ready-made connections, go to the summit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amazing.
And I love that you're bringing in the story, like the Facebook story. I mean, how awesome it is that we never know where like our content or our post is going to reach someone, right? We're always one conversation away,
Yes.
one post away, one comment away from totally changing your life. And so, people I think have strayed away from social media and its intention of socializing and conversing.
Yes. Yes. And that's the thing is at the end of the day, people connect people. People, that's what we have to keep in mind. And I'm not always big on social media. Like I do appreciate, I'd be lying if I said I don't appreciate it because it allows me to connect with you and to be in touch with you and other people. Like I am out of state from a lot of people in my life, and it does give me an opportunity to keep in touch with them in a much more organic, easier way. But at the same time, and that's what I actually, if it's okay if I mention my books again, I want to be a hog on my books, but that's one of the things in my books that I do in the illustrations is is no modern technology there. There's only a landline phone. That's the max I have for modern technology because communication is so important. Being able to talk like we are right now, even though we're not in the same room, even though we're on the phone, at the end of the day, we still need to understand how to make eye contact. We still need to understand how to listen because unless we know how to communicate, all these wonderful resources that we have are not going to follow through. And so that's like a big thing. If someone's listening and I realize like sometimes I hear this stuff too, and I'm like, oh, that's great, but how do I do it? Something else, the woman that's working my marketing, who's also a colleague of Susan's, Melanie, who's absolutely amazing. I'm super psyched to be working with her. She suggested I make a reading guide at the back of my books. So right now I'm in the process of with 3 manuscripts. And I created reader guides for the back of it, discussing things that happen in my situations in my story that occur and how you can talk to your child about that and what questions you can ask or what things you can bring up or what activities. Because I get it. It's sometimes you need something to relate to, or sometimes you need that guidance. Because I know I feel that all the time. Like, again, going back to what we were saying earlier about flexibility, sometimes people will say to me, oh, you have to do this. And that's when I take a step back and I say, well, how do I do that? How do I make this work? And today with the microphone we were discussing before is the perfect example. If it wasn't for you, Olivia, sending me the link and sending me the article, I would not be talking to you right now. So that's like the perfect example of helping each other and communicating and being flexible and all that jazz.
Love it. If you're tuning in, please join our conversation. Throw in your 2 cents. What questions do you have around creative entrepreneurship? What questions do you have around writing a book, a storybook? We'd love to hear from you. So throw us a comment and join in our conversation. And I know that in your introduction, like you help, not only the children, but the parents to open and explore their imagination. How do you feel about using the crocheted, lovelies that you make with the storybooks will enhance communication? So how does that help to foster communication between parents and their children?
Yeah. So for toys, a lot of times, like I'm holding Bella now, a lot of times with children, they talk through their toys or they interact through their toys, meaning like, let's say your child has acts of service. If you're observing your child dress their doll or dress their toy, or maybe they're tucking their toy into the toy's bed, toys are a way of the child acting out what they're feeling or acting out their physical movements. And as an adult, if you can take a step back and observe that, one of like something not related to my toy, but something that I observed in like both my nephew and my friend's little girl. So my nephew is all boy and my friend's little girl is all girl. And I love fabulous shoes. And when I went to put on my shoes before I could put it on, she grabbed it and went, ooh, ooh. So to me as an auntie, I'm observing, I'm like, okay, she's a girl. She's gravitating towards pink. Like this is her thing. Whereas with my nephew, he does things differently. Like he's more about the actions. He's more about throwing the ball off it, off the porch and me going to get it for him. Or if I see him with his toys, like, okay, what's he cuddling? What's not cuddling? How is he towards the toy? And when a child is verbal, I actually had somebody as somebody in my network who actually, his daughter actually does have a Bella. She actually was one of the first people to get a Bella, to purchase a Bella from me. His daughter was scared. So she grabbed her Bella and said, I didn't do it, or something to that effect. Or another thing that she did is there was a thunderstorm and Bella was in the other room and she said, Bella's scared. I need to go get her. A lot of times children will talk to the third person, not all children, but some children. So as an adult, it's our responsibility. I would say it's our responsibility, but it is a skill that we can develop to be able to step back and observe and not assume, but listen and observe what the child is doing. Like same thing with us as adults. Like for me, like I'm very feminine. I'm always in dresses. So like if someone was to buy, I'm just throwing out an example there. Like if someone was to buy me clothes, like pants probably is not a good idea. I probably will not wear them. I'd rather be in a dress. Whereas if I were to look for a gift for you, like I would look for fabulous shades or fabulous jewelry. Because when I've had parties and we've had gatherings, you always have fabulous earrings, fabulous, just that observation, not assuming like, oh, I should do this. It's more of a, just fixing myself. It's more of an observation. And we can do it not just with kids, but with adults. If it's okay for me to mention, I actually worked in corporate before I started entrepreneurship. And one of the reasons why I feel I did so well in corporate is because I observed my guys. What kind of shoes do they wear? What time do they like to fly? What meals are most important to them? How do they travel? Like, is there a particular airline? Da, da, da. And it's the same with kids and their toys. It's like, what are their deal breakers, and also asking the parent, what I do that often myself. Like, what are they into? What reading level are they? Like, what are their milestones right now? How can I help? And because the reality is, until that kid's out of the house and they have their own house, like, you want to appease the parent too. As an aunt, as a godparent, as a godmother, like, you want to appease both sides.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for commenting on my eyewear and earrings.
I
Because
love it. Yes.
I really do take time to like look for those things, right? That
You do though. It looks so fabulous. Yeah.
And Thursday's my biggest day for live stream because I've got like 3 different shows going on. I've got Laughter Yoga, I've got Throwback Thursday with LaDonna, and then I've got Get Me Happy on. And today's episode on Throwback Thursday with LaDonna and Maccabee, we talked about perfectly polished. So perfectly polished, and it's inspired, right? We've been doing this paint collection, and it's by HGTV and Sherwin-Williams. And so based off of this paint palette, we were doing a segment, and we had to come up, with ways on how to be perfectly polished. So I'm like, I'll just throw my tiara.
I love it. I love it. I noticed that. I'm loving the tiara. It's fabulous. So fabulous.
I took my cues from Bella today because I was, compiling all those beautiful slideshows and images and following her around town. And I really do love following her around town. I think you guys have such a ball. And so if you are not following Kristina yet on LinkedIn, please do, because she has these fabulous posts of New York life and of Bella participating in all these fun activities. And so I just love to follow your posts and see what Bella's up to. But in looking at all the pictures today, I'm like, I really got to take some cues from Bella and step up my game and like dress up.
I know,
like,
right?
put on a pretty dress for summer and put on my earrings. And so
I love it. Love it.
And one thing that I was thinking about as I was doing that, right, because I'm doing this live stream as part of my homework, as part of my Humor Academy project, and exploring humor, exploring levity in life. And so it's a lot of fun for me to be able to put together that slideshow for you and add the music. And I was just imagining myself like as a child, and I thought about like my favorite books as a kid. Like I love Paddington Bear. I love Curious George. Right? And like you had these books and their stories, and then they came to life in the movies, and they would make like animated movies, and then they did like not animated but beyond animated with animatronics. And so I was thinking like, wow, like Kristina, that's exactly the path that you're on with Bella.
Yeah. And that's a goal too, ideally, because what I've learned from the book business, I really learned this a lot, especially from Susan and her colleagues, that the books are the legs to everything else that I can do. if you ask me my immediate goals, it would be, and my main dream is to get these first 3 books out. Like I said, I have 3 manuscripts, which I'm working on. We're going through the editing process of 1 book at a time. Of those 3 books, 2 are fully illustrated. I'm dying to start illustrating this 3rd one now. I have all the toys, and I do see other things to go along with it. And when I think about other things like animation or a movie, my dream is to be kind of like pull an Alfred Hitchcock moment where I have that one liner in like every episode, or I have something where is my voice in it, and I do in the immediate future, I really do look forward to the audiobook, and I look forward to the other books. And I'm very big on myself being the illustrator. And I say that for other authors that might be listening, because I am at a crossroad about which path I will take, whether it will be traditional or self-publishing. And one of the things that will determine that is A, I want to illustrate my books. B, I want to be the voice of the audiobooks. Those are like 2 big things. And there are other elements of me that I do want in the books. Like, for example, if it's okay to mention, I hope, Bella always says her blessings at the end of the day. Now, I am a Christian woman, and I feel that's important to have that piece. Again, it's very subtle. It's just something very light. Because again, I have friends of all different faiths, and I respect that. And I love that part of me, but I want to be true to me. And little things like that. And like Bella is always in the dress in the books, again, because I'm very feminine. It's little pieces like that. And I am excited for the public speaking opportunities like I'm having right now with you, to be able to discuss like, okay, what is my story behind this? Like, how would I get there, and why I've made certain choices for Bella and her friends in the books, and it really is, at the end of the day, a lesson in being yourself. A lesson in being yourself, and who you are is wonderful. And you do belong at somewhere and with someone, and it's a beautiful thing, and being open to that. And we don't always have to look the same. We don't always have to be all aligned to be friends either. And that's another beautiful thing. Like, the characters are all different types of animals, and because of their different strengths and weaknesses, they're able to create things like, they're able to do things that they wouldn't be able to do alone. And just beautiful moments like that too, I feel are really important in the books too, to be able to showcase.
And I love that you're embracing all these values that you have, right? I mean, we're not a one size fits all. So like the fact that you can embrace, your faith, the fact that you can embrace being feminine, like why not?
Yeah.
We had a fabulous interview with Liz Jacoy. I would invite you to listen to the speaker spotlight we did with Liz. Liz, in coaching a lot of her clients with imposter syndrome, the fact that you're not being yourself is impostering.
Yes. And, it's tricky too, because again, other authors that are listening are people that are on the author track. It is tricky because at the end of the day, it is a business. You're doing this because you're doing it. You do need to make a living, and the people around you need to make a living too. And it's that checks and balance of how do I do this without compromising. And when I was listening to some of the final episode of the Ellen Show and hearing Ellen DeGeneres talk about how when she first started, there were a lot of things she couldn't do. And over time, she was allowed to do. But at the same time, I feel even from the early episodes, she kept that integrity. And I feel like that's just a huge example of being yourself, being yourself, and just, being true to who you are. And again, sometimes a door will shut in your face in that moment, but another door is also going to open for you somewhere else. And we have to be open to it. So when I was hearing her talk about that, I couldn't help but feel I was relating to it, even though I'm in a very different place in my life, even though I'm in a very different community than her. But at the same time, it is this example of being yourself, and not being afraid to apologize for that. And, in myself is, even though I am a Christian woman, I am a very gentle Christian. I don't talk about certain things unless it's specifically brought up to me. I do try to do that, be respectful. And there are times where I've given some things to somebody and another person will observe it and correct me. And I said, it's not about that. It's about the love and value behind it. And if you're a person of faith, if you're someone that believes in a higher power, it doesn't matter what your faith is or what your higher power is. We still will be able to connect because you'll understand the basis of the connection. You'll understand the basis of faith and belief. And That's something really beautiful, I feel. And it kind of, even though I don't talk about it as deeply in my books because they are for children, and again, I want it to be light and like I don't want anything too heavy. That is what I'm going for, is that meeting each other halfway and being and relating. Like the bike book, for example. I don't want to be too limited to children that are just learning to ride a bike. I do want to be relatable to the child that is riding a bike, but maybe they're struggling with something different. Maybe they're learning to tie their shoes still. Maybe, and that's another book I will do, is learn to tie your shoes. It's actually another draft I have I'm working on. Maybe they're learning a higher level of reading and they're struggling, or maybe they're rollerblading at that point. The skills, I wouldn't say necessarily skills, but the mindset and the feelings, if we think about it, they're all relatable. And if we can channel that relatability, how open will our world be? How easier will it be us to say, oh, wait, and it's just like today with the microphone. And last night I was working on my automated emails, and let me tell you, and I'm sure people are listening will relate to this, I had to do Googles on how to automatically insert a name when someone subscribes, how to add my signature. Why is my signature in lowercase? So it took me sending it to 2 or 3 different emails, and like, oh, it's something on my end. It's not the algorithm, But it's just like riding a bike. It's just like this trial and error, and this like go with the flow and be like, all right, is it working? Is it not working? And, and just figuring it out. And for all the chaos that it was to figure out the microphone, I am grateful, because I think it's really, I'm so happy to be able to tell you I'm sitting by Central Park. I'm right down the street from the Central Park Zoo. Bella's super stoked because she loves the Central Park Zoo. And I think, I'm grateful you allowed me to take this chance and going on the phone and being able to set a background with you. And I feel like, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Wonderful. I am just so thrilled for all your success.
Thank you.
I love hearing about the storybooks and can't wait to see that.
Yes.
And so now we're coming to the segment of the show called Table Topics. So I've got table topics right here, and I've got a really big stack to go through. But today's table topic, Kristina, I just pulled this at random, is that we assume that more options will make us happier, but the opposite is true. And so the question I have for you is, have you ever bought anything from a TV infomercial because you thought it would make your life better?
Oh my gosh, I love it. So I have not. And I actually am the queen of like cleaning out the closet every couple of months. I'm not a minimalist. But I don't like excess. And I will invest in something if I know I will use it every day. Like if it's something I will genuinely use, I will invest in it. I will do it. But I'm not an impulse shopper. I'm not a spontaneous shopper. Like I really have to love it and I really have to use it. And yeah, so I I love the question. I love it.
I'm the total opposite. I am such an impulse shopper. Like things just come to me, right? And I was talking to one of my good colleagues, Talia Jashal, about this very same thing, and she gave me some like really good reflection questions. Because in that moment, I can pause and I can think about, okay, where would this go? Will I use it? Does it go with anything else that I have? And so those are really like mindful questions. And so now I don't have to impulse as much. I can still like it, admire it, maybe take a picture of it and look at it from afar. But having those questions has really helped me.
Absolutely. That I totally agree. And also I find when you ask those questions, it helps you find opportunities as well. Like perfect example, because like you said, I'm in New York City, 100 million things going on every day, all year round. So yesterday, I actually made a reel of it on Instagram. I went to the botanical gardens yesterday and visited the rose gardens, and it's absolutely beautiful in June because they're all in bloom. But here's the clincher. And on Wednesdays, it's free for New York City residents. And normally a ticket is $30 for a regular day. So I got to go for free yesterday. So it's things like that, those questions you're saying you ask yourself, I find are so important because it makes you look deeper. makes you look, well, wait, do they have a discount day? Do they have do they have a free day? And, it does make a difference in your life, and it lightens your heart. It's not just about financial. It's also emotional too. Like, it does lighten you to know you're finding a value and you're doing good and you're not wasting. So I totally get what you're saying.
Awesome. All right. So now, as we wrap up the show, it's rapid fire question time.
Yay! Bella's ready.
So I hope you and Belle are ready. But we
We are
have
so
21
ready.
questions, and it's rapid fire. So we're going to see how quickly you think on your feet. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Number one. Actually, take a deep breath first because you're in a beautiful park.
I'm ready.
I just love this. Is probably the most exciting audio track I've had in a live stream because I got the birds, I got the cabs honking.
Oh, you did? Oh my God.
It's okay. It's part of the New York life. Okay.
Leave it to me.
All right, here we go. So 21 questions, rapid fire. Number one, have you seen the movie with Mr. Rogers, A Beautiful Day with Tom Hanks?
No, but I saw the documentary. I have to watch the Tom Hanks version. I have to watch it, but love the documentary.
Okay. If you were a casting director and could choose any actor other than Tom Hanks to play Mr. Rogers, who would you choose?
Oh. Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. He's not an actor, but I would actually choose Ron Howard. I know he's a director. He's not an actor anymore per se. He's not in the acting realm, but he has that gentle, everyday feel to him that Mr. Rogers has. So he is the closest. Like, I can imagine myself sitting next to him as amazing. And I love Ron Howard movies. Huge fan of his directing and huge Happy Days fan as well. But I know it's a little bit of a stretch, but because he doesn't act as much anymore. But yeah, I think Ron Howard would be my choice for that one. Oh, good question. That's a toughie.
Hey, Ron Howard, if you're listening, we'd like you to portray Mr. Rogers.
Yay!
All right. So where in New York would you take Mr. Rogers out for lunch?
Oh, I would take him to, oh my gosh. I would take him to, oh gosh. You know what? I would take him to, it's a little touristy, but I would take him to Serendipity because old fashioned ice cream parlor, I haven't been in years, but it has that old school New York way to it in ice cream. There's something about ice cream in childhood. It's just that, I'm a gelato person, but how could you not smile? And the food there, I personally haven't eaten dinner in a while, or lunch there in a while, but it's very like snacky food. You know what I mean? Just feel good, no guilt, just warmth. And I feel like that's what Mr. Rogers is, just like pure warmth, that's all he is. Yeah.
Awesome. I love gelato.
Yes.
Okay. So, does Bella have a brother?
Not yet. So ironically, the real life Isabella, who Bella is a combination of me, like I said, and my friend's daughter. So my friend is expecting her second. Congratulations to them. And so I do have that in my head. I'm like, oh, how do I fit in the brother? Because you can have one kid in the line and not the other one. So, and I do, for the books, it is my dream also to have Bella become a big sister in a book, because that transition also, as the oldest of three kids, and I realize, Olivia, you have siblings too, is a transition. It doesn't matter how old or young you are. Everyone's going through a transition, mom and dad as well. And so I do feel like it's an important feelings exercise to explore and write about, both from my point of view, from being the oldest, and also working with one of my friends that is a mom of more than one child and asking them, well, what did you observe in your child and everything else? So not yet, but coming soon to a theater near you.
Okay. So, red or white wine?
Oh gosh, red.
Red.
Red. Big time
What
red
is
girl.
your favorite genre of music?
Oh, jazz. Love my jazz. It's very, it's so complex, but unseemingly complex. And I am always amazed at how those musicians make such beautiful melodies that's so complex, and they make it seem so easy. They make it seem like, oh, they're just going to get like to go munch on chew on a stick of gum. They make it seem like no big deal. Just throw it in the cart, got it. And I just marvel because it's so complex and yet so beautiful. So jazz, definitely.
Who would be your partner in Dancing with the Stars?
Oh gosh, that's a good one. Oh gosh, who would be my partner? Oh my gosh. I would. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on who would I choose. I would.
I think you should dance with Brandon.
What's that? I'm sorry, Brandon.
Dance with Brandon.
Gotcha. You know, I would choose Trolls, who's currently top in the world right now, because his partner has I've been told his partner is very high energy, even though she's calm. And I feel like I would learn a lot from dancing with him because this woman is Ina's on top of the world too. Like they're number one right now. And I feel they would train me in a way. Because my coach actually was on Dancing with the Stars for over a decade, and she's been my coach for several years now, so I'm so grateful for that. So I'm tempted to say her partner, but he has it. He's coached me as well, so I'm kind of a toss up. But I'll say Trolls for right now. I will settle with Trolls.
All right. What's the next animal on your list for the beautiful crochet creations?
Oh my gosh, good question. So it's not actually in the line, but I did create it, so I'll add that one. I actually created a Dalmatian, and it has a cute collar with it, and he's bigger. He's bigger than Bella. He's bigger than when I normally create, and so I think it would be cool to fill that in, because like my friend Julie, who you met at the Christmas party I threw this year, so many people have pets. And when I talk about earlier about it's about mom and dad as well as the baby, as well as a toddler, as well as a grade school kid, I think it would be nice to have that, you know what I mean, to have more puppies in the line eventually. So yeah, I think that would be the next one.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. And what is your hidden talent?
Ooh, what is my hidden talent? That's a good question. I think it would have to be, oh gosh, what is my hidden talent? That's a good question. I think it's, I do know what it is. I'm a very avid reader. If I have nothing else going on, I can read a book within a day or so. I'm a very, very quick reader. So if I have nothing going on, I will just sit and read for hours, no problem. I'm good. I'm good to go.
Can you share with us your favorite Paris memory?
Oh gosh. Oh yes, I do know my favorite Paris memory. So when I went the second time to Paris, I went to see a ballet at the Opera House, the Royal Opera House on the main strip. And when I got there, the house was empty, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I realized the show actually started at 7:30, not at 8. So I got there at 7:45. So I'm out on the stairs, all flustered. Luckily, I got in, but I was still bummed because I missed a little bit of the ballet, even though I've seen it here in New York. And then intermission, I calmed myself down, and I thought, there is a possibility here. What is it? And then I realized it. I got to see the Paris Opera stairs completely empty. And I got to walk up them all by myself in my Manolo Blahniks. And to me, that's a once in a lifetime experience. Like, I don't know when I'll be able to see the Paris Opera House completely empty like that. I don't know when I'll be Cinderella at the ball, walking up the stairs all by myself. It was absolutely magical. Absolutely magical.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
What is the best thing about living in New York?
Ooh. I feel it's the art. For me, it's the arts. There's so much art here. And you know me well. You know I'm a multi-creative. I draw, I dance, I crochet, I knit. And I don't just draw one style. I draw multiple styles. I work on multiple mediums. And with New York, you have so many kinds of theater. You have so many kinds of museums. You have so many concerts and different things. So it really is very satisfying if you have an artistic appetite And also if you have different types of appetites, you know, not everybody likes Broadway. I mean, I personally, after all those years, still enjoy a Broadway show. But if you're craving something more intimate, there is that for you. And there's just such a variety. And that's really what I love about this city is the amount of art and culture that I have at my fingertips. I'm extremely spoiled at this point in my life. Extremely spoiled.
So what is the not so best thing about living in New York?
You get very dependent on public transit. And you get very used to your way of running things. So the worst part is when, like all things in life, they need you to do construction and they need you to do repairs. There's nothing more annoying than having your mentally mapping out your route and going and finding out your train isn't running, or you have to switch here or switch there, or da da da. Like, you get into your routine, and when that routine is shifted, I would say that's the worst part, is when public transit isn't working, because public transit is like the quickest way to get around here. I don't care what anyone says. Like, it's so quick. It's really easy to get around. It's really not that complicated once you get the hang of it. But yeah, when they do construction, you're like, no, what do you mean it's not running express? What do you mean I have to go local? Like, that's the worst part.
And speaking about New York City, Sex and the City, which character are you?
Oh gosh, good question. I am a cross between a Carrie and a Charlotte. Um, it's going to sound really silly, but I'm that girl that wants to be married. You know, I want the husband, I want the kids. So that's where I fall into the Charlotte. I also feel like dressing wise, Charlotte's very feminine. I'm not as preppy as Charlotte, but Charlotte's very feminine, and that's how I fall into that. I feel I'm a Carrie in the way she approaches things and as a creative. And it's ironic because I'm realizing I am a writer. I'm not just someone that writes books and blogs. I am a writer. And so like something like that. And also the way she organizes her apartment, the people she's attracted to, I realize that. Dress wise, like dressing style wise, I'm not. Shoe wise, I am a Carrie. But the way she dresses, I wish I could dress like that. I wish I could be that bold and daring, but unfortunately I'm not. But I'm definitely a cross between those two. And someone called me a week ago, said, "You're a writer. You'll figure out something great to write." And I realized, oh my gosh, I am a writer. And it was that moment of like, whoa. And also I love to cook and I love to bake. In real life, Sarah Jessica Parker is a cook. Like, she does enjoy cooking, which is what I think is so funny about Carrie. Carrie's not a cook. And so so it's ironic. In real life, Sarah Jessica and I do have that in common. I'm a huge fan of Sarah Jessica's work as well. She's another one of my favorite actresses. So yes.
Love her. Hashtag
Yeah, love it.
SGP.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So if you had to choose between QVC or HSN?
Oh my gosh. QVC or HSN. What, do you mind telling me just clarifying what those stands for? Because I'm afraid I'm going to answer incorrectly. I apologize.
QVC is, I think, quality value.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's the Home Shopping Network, and then HSN is the Home Shopping Network.
Oh, I got you. I would say quality. Always quality. Always
so QVC?
quality.
Okay.
QVC. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
What is the best advice you have for creative entrepreneurs?
The best advice I have, and it's actually ironic because somebody asked me this a week ago. We were walking down the street and she asked me, keep trying. And when I realize it's a very broad statement, and I will explain what I mean right now. Take the time to sit down and think about what you love, what you're passionate about, and then just test the waters. Like, and I'll give an example because I feel I'm having a hard time like being clear as like, I know what I'm saying, but I'm hearing it. I'm like, I want to be more clear for the audience. Let's say you want to write a blog. Sit down and just start writing blogs. Just do it. Pull a Nike on yourself and keep writing and writing and writing, and then not be afraid of it not being good. And then once you write it, put it aside and keep writing some more and get yourself in a regular pattern of just posting. You'll find that by doing simultaneously creating privately and then actually acting on that creativity, you're going to gain more clarity into what you should be, not what you should be writing. I shouldn't say it that way, but what your audience wants to hear, what's working for you, what you're feeling good about, what you're not feeling good about, and being open to that pivot. And I know I used a blog in this example. It doesn't have to be a blog. It could be a recipe. It could be a book draft. It could be a stuffed toy. It could be anything. Just having that courage to test things out and test it out multiple times, and maybe you adjust it. When something that maybe you might be aware of this, Olivia, but I realize not everyone might be. There are loveys that I've created, and I'm like, I don't like this color scheme. So no big deal. It's in the closet, fine. Like, I'll give it to someone down the line for as a gift, maybe I won't. But then I took it off my website after a while. I was like, oh, I can just hide this for right now. Maybe I'll go back to it and I'll revise the color. But again, there's no harm in trying. There's no harm in trying. And the thing too is a lot of these things don't cost any extra funds. A lot of these things, all you need is a pen and paper or a Mac. Or in this case, just a little bit of yarn and a hook. Like, you really don't need a lot of resources. And that's my other, if it's okay if I give another piece of advice, don't feel pressured that you need stuff. Don't feel pressured like, I need the right notebook. I need the right pens. No, you don't. You need a napkin. All you need is a piece of printing paper. That's all you need. You don't need a fancy computer. Like, I have my one screen Mac. When I was in corporate, I had multiple screens. Now I have my one Mac and I'm fine. Like, don't feel you need everything at once. Is all good. But yes, that's my two-way advice. But
yes, keep trying, and you don't need all the stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So, what's your favorite cookie recipe?
Oh gosh, I would say it's the gingerbreads. It's my gingerbreads that I coat in dark chocolate. That's something I bake them at Christmas, but I also bake them throughout the year because everyone requests it. And so I feel it's important to like have that for everybody. And yeah, that would be my go-to. That's my go-to multiple times.
Sounds yummy.
Yeah.
So where are you and Bella headed to next?
We're actually, ideally, we're going to be able to pop in and visit some friends who are actually downtown. Originally, I was supposed to be in Union Square, but then I was running short on time, and so I didn't want to delay you and whatnot, so I hate being late for things. So we're going to hop the train and do a little visiting, and yeah, hopefully before they get too busy.
Nice. Awesome. What was your mom's favorite tradition?
Oh, gosh. It was the cookie baking that I do at Christmas. We had neighbors next door the original neighbors next door was an elderly couple, and they came over a couple years in a row with a little plate of cookies. And my mom was so inspired by that. And when I was 10 years old, we all happened to have 2 weeks off for Christmas and New Year's, and my mom decided to bake. And and over time it was passed on to me. But I would say that was one of her favorite traditions. The other one, if it's okay, I'm always a two-parter, so I do, you know me, it's just how I roll. The other tradition she had is I think it was the year prior to the cookie baking started, which is why it comes to mind. She cross-stitched a Christmas tablecloth in the napkins. And to this day, we use it for both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Since I've been 9 years old, that's been our Christmas tablecloth, and that was really, really important to her. It was important that was always, it didn't matter. And let me tell you, like, this year at Christmas, I actually got in disagreement with one of my siblings because when my sibling wanted to know why I was serving dessert in the other room and not the dining room table. I'm like, because I need to do a load of wash before I go to mass. Like, I can't be everywhere. And because it's tradition, that tablecloth has to be on, and I needed to wash it so that my dad would get it in the dryer. And so, yeah, I would say that's a big tradition too.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, that was my next question. So you just answered it. I was going to say, how do you continue that tradition? So there you go.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And the cookies are still going too. I've been baking those cookies since I was 10 years old, and I do my bakes every year. I do the same deliveries every year. So I will have to get some to Memory Lane this year.
Yes, going to Florida. Yes. Okay, so name all the colors of the rainbow in order.
That I can do. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple.
Violet.
Violet. Oh, violet. Ah! I almost got it. I almost was there. Almost. Went off.
All right. And super last question for you. Yes. If you could add a color to the rainbow, what color would that be?
Ooh. You know, I'm going to go with my second favorite color, which is pink. And I would go with like a magenta, I actually, when I network and I see this because when I'm networking and I don't really know anyone in the room, I have 2 magenta. Actually, I wore it to the Senior Heart Summit presentation.
Yeah.
I always wear my magenta pink because it's very me, it's very feminine, and also it makes a statement. It stands out. So if I just say magenta, because I believe what the color you're wearing gives you a certain energy and gives you a certain feeling. So yeah, I would go for the magenta.
Love it. Love it.
Yes.
Well, Kristina, you made it. You made it through 21
Yes!
questions.
Amazing. Amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I just want to give a shout out because you'd mentioned Julie, and I love that you connected
Yes.
Julie and I at the
Yes.
Christmas party. So, Julie, big shout out to you. You know, we need to get together. We need to get together again. And just want to give a shout out to her business, the Motley Crew.
Yes.
How cool is that? So, shout out to you, Julie. Let's get together again soon. And there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed getting to know Kristina Lucia and Bella today. And don't go away. So Kristina has a gift for you. Yes, she has a free gift for you.
Yes, I do.
This is a free cartoon download. So
Yes.
you can download this.
Yes. Yes.
Simple coloring page.
Yes.
And
Yep.
be a part of Bella's adventures. So this is the link here. I know it's a lot of words to copy down, but we'll make sure to put in the post and in the comments as well. But here it is on the screen for you.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I can always send you a more fine-tuned hyperlink as well. Like I think I had it in one doc, so I could definitely do it. Or else, like another alternative too is if you go to my website, there is a pop-up, and that pop-up will give you the same coloring drawing, so that might be simpler too. So either 2 different choices there. So either way, you'll find it.
Yes. So as a thank you to all of you for tuning into this live stream, get your happy on. We have this amazing download for you. So this is the website here. It's just the abbreviated version of Curiously Created Creations of Kristina Lucia. And so there's a pop-up there. Please go connect with Kristina on LinkedIn. She's a fabulous connection to have. Follow all the adventures of Bella and Friends on Facebook. And thank you so much again for watching Get Your Happy On. So we'll see you next week. And in the meantime, just have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We loved it.
Always a pleasure, Kristina. Always a pleasure to you, Bella.
Thank you. Amazing. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you.
See you.